Meech, why'd you let me do this, man? Listen, there are lots of shows that are official post-game shows, right? And they have to be on after the game to react to it. And that's what they do. That's their job, right? But this show, as you know, this is an elective thing. And we
kind of play by our own rules over here.
Yeah, we could do whatever we want. And I feel like I've learned this lesson almost every time we say we're going to have a show after a game, the game sucks. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I think the problem with us too is we're not like some sort of like shock jocks that are like excited to rip into teams when they blow. You know what I mean? We're just like, that sucked. I don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean? So yeah, here we are after the Flyers lose to the Red Wings. I believe it was 6-2. I just kind of bailed out on the whole damn thing. Yeah, is it still going on?
Larkin's got a hat trick, down 6-2. Bad things happen in Detroit, Detroit.
Yeah. Well, City Pigeons, episode 153. Best show in town, which the best show in town is, of course, the Flyers, or I think it is.
Is it?
Is it? I think it is. I mean, dude, with what the Phillies are doing, might be. The Sixers are getting spanked. Embiid out. We'll get to that. Oh, my Lord. I'm up past my bedtime. This was an ill-fated plan, Meech, but we're going to make the best of it because
if we weren't doing this right now, I'd be probably half asleep right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to stay up and watch a Phillies game tonight, thank God.
Yes, that's true. No more late night Phillies games. Yeah, but I don't know. Hopefully some of the other guys will jump on here to inject some energy. You know what I mean? Because we're like the elder statesmen. You know what I mean? So it's not surprising that we're feeling a little sleepy.
Yeah, my energy starts to go down after like 7:30.
I'm actually curious about this, Meech, because we haven't talked about it a lot. You back in the, our heyday, the 90s, and we had the Lindros era, and the Flyers had some nice little playoff appearances. Nothing, we've never come close to doing what they did in the 70s, but did have the one stand. Well, we lost to Detroit. See, this is where my hockey knowledge is going to get all screwed up. We lost to Detroit in the Stanley Cup Finals in the 90s, right? Are you following me on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And then Chicago in the
right. Yes, I remember that. But I don't remember much like hockey Meech stuff ever back in the day. Like, did you get into it as like a Philadelphian or like?
Yeah, I was a huge hockey fan. I was a big Lindros guy. My first jersey I ever had was a number 21 Dave Brown jersey. My dad got from the guys at Mitchell and Ness
when I was OG hockey
12th and Walnut. I also got. I remember he got me the original San Jose Shark jersey. I wish I still had that. That was a nice item back then. Beautiful sweater. But yeah, I was in the NHL.
Even says sweater.
On Genesis hockey cards. Yeah, I was a big hockey head back then.
Yeah. Listen, I didn't mean for us to just get into like all sorts of reminiscing, but the Sega Genesis, that's when I could actually play video games. There's only 3 buttons.
Yeah, same with me, man.
Was it just ABC? I think it was ABC, right?
Yeah.
3 buttons on the Genesis.
And then when Mortal Kombat came out, they came out with the 3 more buttons so you could play Mortal Kombat. But it was basically 3 buttons.
When we moved to PlayStation and you had to like wrap your hand around it, like I was pretty much out, man.
I would get my ass kicked in every game I played. I remember playing even Super Nintendo. I'd be playing that James Bond, the GoldenEye with like a 4-player, and I would be by far the worst one. Yeah. I was never good at any of those shooter games. Yeah, get me out of there.
Who is though?
I'll play some Madden and shit.
Total losers, like who's good at that stuff? I don't know. Guys that memorize all the codes or the secret moves with the 40 sequence of buttons. Losers, man. Get a life. Anyway, we digress. But yeah, like those were, man. It was so hype. The way the Flyers were. So good back then, and like the Lindros Legion of
Spectrum would be friggin' rocking.
Yeah, I mean it was so good. I still have. So I was thinking about this. That was kind of, to be honest with you, that was in my, I want to call it grifting, maybe like my mooching heyday. I don't know, but I was getting really good tickets to stuff because I can't remember what year it was that the Flyers were in the playoffs, but I think my dad was the mayor at the time, and I just remember sitting like on the glass for a Flyers Devils playoff game. and Claude Lemieux hit like banged a slapper right in front of me to like, we lost the game. And, that was one of my many crappy sports experiences that scarred me. But those were just such good times that the team was like, so awesome, relevant. And I feel like over the past however many years, I mean, we had when they went and lost to the Islanders, that was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was cool.
No, didn't they lose to the Bruins?
Did they? I thought who did they lose to in the game 7? See, we don't have this hockey knowledge. Why am shouldn't be testing our hockey knowledge.
Yeah. What are you quizzing each other for? We don't know shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But here's the thing. As a guy who liked the Flyers when, I'm a little older, however many years ago, when Briere and Jonesy started, taking over, like, oh, hell yeah. Like, I like these guys, these are guys from my era. And I feel like with the Flyers, though, over the past maybe 5 years, like every time it looks like they're going to do something good, then all of a sudden they immediately crap the bed and lose like 10 games in a row. And you're like, ah. And this was the first year they actually took it past crapping the bed into like, hey, we might actually have something here.
Yeah. It's pathetic that they haven't made the playoffs in so long, because playoff hockey is so good. It's one of the best things in pro sports, like, period. And when your team isn't in it, it really takes some of the wind out of the sails, as they say.
I was just talking to my son about that, because he's never really seen the Flyers play in the playoffs. And, I was like, man, you don't know how good playoff hockey is. And I'm not one of these guys who spends a lot of time watching non-Philadelphia sporting events. I think number one, my attention span isn't what it used to be, given everything that is thrown at you these days. But two, I just don't have a lot of spare time to sit down and just watch sporting events that aren't Philly sporting events, But I was telling him, for my money, man, like playoff hockey might be the best. And I guess you can't really, it's hard to compare it to anything else, right? Like you compare it to football. Every playoff game is such a singular event. You know what I mean? So it's like, obviously that's like dramatic. And with pitching, with baseball, every pitch, there's a drama to that too. Basketball, to be honest with you, man, I don't know. Like basketball for me, it's great, but it's not on the level.
Yeah, there's still some great playoff moments, but a lot of
like
basketball, the product,
first or second round basketball playoff series, it just doesn't hit the same way. But I feel like in hockey, guys are like, leaving absolutely everything they have out there in these games, and 7-game series in hockey, when the teams play each other, man, like that over and over, it's just incredibly dramatic. So my hope is that we're going to have that again. And for me, to be honest with you, I'm having fun just jumping back on the wagon. And so, if the Flyers play in the first round, I'll just be psyched to see it.
Even Easter Sunday, man. I'm at my sister's house, and everybody's watching all around the TV. Like the Phillies are on, but everybody's around the TV watching the Flyers. It was pretty cool. Like it's hasn't happened in close to 10 years probably. And then the very next game they ruin it. But I think
it's not ruined yet.
I think they also need the Blue Jackets to lose. And last I saw, they were losing 3-0. So I don't know if much has changed tonight. But
I was hoping we would have Goodhart on, because he's a season ticket holder, right?
Yeah.
And I did. There are a lot of people who, there have been conversation about the gatekeeping, right? Like saying, oh, you haven't been paying attention to Flyers, so you can't pay attention now. You know what I mean? Like you can't jump on the wagon. I just want people to understand that we as a group, we have hockey credibility. And I just wanted to give a few instances of that just to reestablish our hockey credibility. Now, number one, Mark Goodhart has been and remains a Flyers season ticket holder, right? So that has to count for something. And we did attend the game.
I think that counts for the lady that sells him the tickets just being a good saleswoman, because I think he regretted doing it the moment he bought them.
Remember he got sucked back in, I think, on the Sixers, and that's what he regretted. I don't think he regretted the Flyers.
No, I think it was the similar situation with the Flyers, if I can remember.
All right. Well, if he gets back from Chickies and Pete's, now I got to give him credit. The guy, he texted us and said he's taking his family to watch the game at Chickies and Pete's. That's I like that. I can respect that. But if he gets home in time and jumps in, we can clarify. I'm going to guess he doesn't regret it anymore. But if you do recall, Meech, we did have a City Pigeons outing at the Flyers earlier this year before any of the hype. And we saw a comeback overtime victory, right? So we were already in on the Flyers to begin with, right? So then
and Rock and I went before that.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's
4 or 5 games this year, I think.
Boom. There you go. We do have one member of our crew that has won multiple adult league ice hockey championships, having scored multiple goals. He knows what it's like to score goals on the ice. And he might be looking right at you, Meech. Okay. And I don't know if you know this about me. I don't know if we talked about this, but, I grew up playing a lot of street hockey in the driveway, and I was always like, I always wanted to play hockey. I used to go to like the public skates, and I would skate a little bit if I couldn't skate. And a friend of mine, this got to be like 10, 15 years ago, he's like, hey, we're starting up a C League hockey team. You want to play? And I'm like, me and Squirrel, actually. And we're like, yeah, all right, we'll play. We had no business playing hockey. But
was it ice hockey?
Yeah, it was ice hockey. And we literally like went to the hockey rink and like started skating and like tried to figure it out. And we took some like clinics and stuff. So we played on this team, and we had one guy who scored like 8 goals a game. He was like too good for the league. But I used to, like, right when I first had my kid, I would kind of help put my kid to bed, and then I would leave and drive out to Westchester at like 11 o'clock at night.
Nice.
I got to tell you, there's like I got to the point where I could, function enough to do some things, and scored a couple goals, and that was so awesome. Best workout ever too, by the way. So anyway, that's credibility right there. Meech,
I can barely hockey.
So good. I'm basically Broads. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. I'm basically Broads. Now, we have done some hockey programming before. I don't know if you recall, and it went a lot like it went tonight, if you remember, because we did have what was, by the way, a very legit, some would say, off the chains Flyers. What was that? A pep rally party? A watch party? Yeah, we watched a game.
It was a Union Forge. Is that watch party?
That's right. Yes, It was a Union Forge watch party with Flyers Nation, I believe, was the online organization that did it. And you remember what happened in that game while we had the podcast going?
No.
They lost 5-0. I remember. Put a bit of a damper on it.
Yeah, but that was when we were on a run of every sporting event that we watched at the Coop was a loss.
That's right. And we did have Rocky come in and play goalie in his, as take the pipes as African warrior, and the entire people started unloading slap shots on him. So, we've done
where's Rocky tonight, by the way? He doesn't have. Oh, he's in vacation, isn't he?
No, I think he was working in Arizona, actually. But either way, he stays up late. He's like a guy. He stays up really late. Me, I've been going to sleep early.
It's only like 8 o'clock in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still there or not, to be honest with you. Nobody talks to us anymore, man. It's just me and you. Just, they don't talk to us. I don't know what's going on out there.
Is this even being broadcast, or is it just me and you having like a Zoom?
It basically is. That's okay, buddy. I'm enjoying it. So I was thinking, man, like, first of all, let's just put aside this game not that you can just put aside a game tonight, but let's just assume for all intents and purposes that the Flyers are still on their way here, hopefully, to a playoff berth. Couple things that make me think they might actually really have a chance to do something. And before this game, their record in the last 21 games, they won 15 of 21 games. So now they've won 15 of 22, which is still pretty impressive. We got flyered down. Okay. I see Mark here. But 15 of 22 games is still impressive, Meech. And you know how this tournament is, right? You see 8 seeds make runs, just got to get in. And with some of this infusion of talent they have, it's been great. So let's bring Mark in here, because he's live from coming off of Chickies and Pete's night with the fam. Let's bring him in. Mark, you're flyered down. You were flyered up, now you're flyered down.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Wait, Mark, could you move somewhere that has a more echo, preferably, and children in the back?
I have tried to get them to move away from the area. They did, but open floor plans.
We'll work with it. Okay, can you set the scene for us at Chickies and Pete's, like, starting going into the game, and then, as things went south, what was it like down there?
Yeah, so it was actually, we got there a little after 7. It was pretty packed. We were able to get a table, though. That's why I like Chickies. You can always get a table. They do a really good job there because they pipe in the announcers, and then they also do the home arena stuff. So when the Flyers go on a power play, they do the going on the Pico power play, and they have the music when they score a goal that they play in the arena. They do a really good job with that.
Beautiful.
We were there on Saturday night after some youth sports because we wanted to watch the South Carolina women's game, and there happened to be a Flyers game going on too. So I noticed that they did a good job, and I said, you know what, we should go watch the game down there tonight. It was packed, a lot of people there, a lot of Flyers chants, and then the place just started emptying out a bit.
Dying. Now, when I said
the goalie, it was a little somber.
I do want to talk about that, but when I said get Meech some crab fries, that was a reference to Meech. I'm sure you picked up on that, right?
Yes.
That was a reference to, it was a long time ago when we were talking about foods, and Meech has gone on, I think he's gone on various rants about, was it that the Chickies and Pete's fries are overrated?
Yeah, but you know what? I get them. My kids eat them. So almost every time I go to a store, I got nothing against them. They're overrated French fries. They're especially when you get them at the stadium. They're not crunchy. They're soggy, and they put too much.
Old Bay.
They don't call it Old Bay, but it's their secret blend. But it's basically Old Bay.
Old Bay.
It's all right. I got nothing.
Their secret Old Bay blend. I'll tell you, Meech, I generally agree, and I generally loathe them at stadiums, mostly because they're 4 times the price and 4 times the size, and your kid's always I want crab fries, and they eat a third of them, and you're sick. And then I end up eating whatever.
I get in the bucket with chicken nuggets or chicken fingers that's $55, and they eat a quarter of it, and I'm furious.
But they are much better in the restaurant. We did get that night, and they are much better in the restaurant.
Or at the airport. You can get a solid Chickies and Pete's meal at the airport. Just saying.
Yes. The move at the airport is they have a pork roll, egg and cheese on a Sarcone's roll, and you eat half of it there, and you pack the other half for when you land and kill it there.
Love it.
Good stuff for airport food.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Mark.
So that was the scene, and the season ain't over, but the team's been so resilient, and they've stepped up in all these big games. Maybe this was a tough game. Detroit's playing for a spot. In Detroit's a tough place to play. They're a good team, but I just thought they were going to ride the momentum and come out stronger tonight, I guess.
Okay, but Mark, do you have your head around? I feel like with the NHL. And maybe it's just I don't follow as closely, but the playoff situations are a little more complicated. What is going on here? Where are we at? How much does that loss set us back? Tell me the truth here.
So we are still in 3rd place in the division. We're up a point on the Islanders, who finally won a game again tonight. We're 2 points up on the Blue Jackets. And then if you look at the wild card, the weird thing about the way they do the standings, it's we sort of got to look at both in the NHL, and they don't put you in the wild card standings when you're in the leaders of the division that would qualify for the playoffs. But if we were to fall out of the division race, we are right now 2 points, which is, essentially 1 game behind in the wild card.
So we have to make the playoffs through the Metro Division, pretty much. Columbus.
Yeah, or we have to sort of win out and pass Ottawa. Ottawa's been hot. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row.
They won tonight.
And they won tonight, because they went from 92 points to 94. we're still at 92, and the Red Wings are at 91. So I mean, this was like a must-win game for the Red Wings, but they're not in our division. But now they're 1 point behind us in the Wild. I mean, it's all sort of
okay. So here's the thing: I didn't, when I decided we were going to jump on this bandwagon and really ride this thing. I really didn't think there was a good chance that we could still miss the playoffs, but it feels like that's possible, right? Like, is that realistic that we could be still not in the playoffs here? I don't like it.
We got 3 games left, 2 at home. And one thing I don't know about hockey, do these teams rest their players? We play Carolina at home, right. The last game of the season. They're locked in as the division winner, but not locked in as the number 1 seed overall. Like, are they going to rest players? Are they not going to rest players? Are they going to?
There's no such thing as load management in hockey, bro. There's too many guys on the team. They just throw them all out there on the ice every game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't know that you have enough
you
extra
could play
guys.
Like 12 to 15 minutes instead of 21 minutes, but they'll play everybody.
Yeah.
So
we're playing 2 of the top teams in the conference. 2 out of the last 3 games, Montreal and Carolina. Both teams have over 100 points. They're first and second place in the conference. So we got our work cut out for us, and I think we played Winnipeg.
More like loser peg.
In Winnipeg, which is an odd trip. Like maybe it's not as far from Detroit as it sounds, but it sounds really far away.
Well, so before this game, Mark, I was talking about how the Flyers had won 15 of 21 games, and how that made me feel like not only could they get in, they're so hot, they could do some damage. We'll see if that holds. The other reason that I feel like it's the Flyers' time is the names that we have on the team. Now, I'm going to rattle off some of these names. I think they're great hockey names. But the question I have to ask is this does every team, because this is hockey and guys are from all over the place, does every team have really good names? I feel like these are some of the best names that we've had in a very long time. Let's start with Zegras. I mean, come on, right? Like, is that not like the best hockey name? Oh, Zegras. Come on, right? Zegras, guys. You don't think it's the best hockey name ever?
Great name.
I mean, not best ever. Zegras.
Okay.
It's a cool name.
What about Dvorak? I mean, come on. Like, dude, I mean, that's almost like a movie villain, right? Dvorak. I love that. Dvorak's fantastic. Forrester, Martone, Vladar, and then Ristolainen. Come on, dude. Ristolainen. It's just fun to say. And of course, Michkov. You have to get a Michkov jersey. Mich, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand. Well, they're expensive, so
I'm not buying.
Get the jersey.
Those newfangled Fanatics jersey with the big Fanatic symbol on the back. If I get another Flyers jersey, I'm going vintage. I'll get like a Rod Brindamore or something.
That's good. I still think you should get the Michkov jersey then. Mark, maybe we should get that for him. It's a nice gift. When's your birthday, Mich?
Not a bad idea.
Less than a week, my man.
Are you serious?
Next Wednesday night. Tax day.
Birthday. Yeah, let's go. So you want to spend your birthday doing a podcast with us, right? Isn't that what you want to do?
Yeah.
What are your plans?
I don't really have any plans. Let's do it. I hate my birthday. Who gives a shit about their birthday? As a man. No.
So, Jesse, to give you a little insight, had they won tonight, they would have had a 78% chance of making the playoffs. It was 67% going into the game. They are currently sitting at 52% to make the playoffs.
It's a coin flip.
It's a coin flip. They had a magic number, which you don't really hear magic numbers in hockey. Going into tonight of 7 points, which basically means win 3 and, regulation tie 1. That's tall order. I don't know what the magic number is now and what other teams did, but I can tell you that the playoff percentage is down. If they win on Saturday, it goes back to 72.2%, if that helps. They just got to win some hockey games.
I like the data. I did hear them say on the broadcast, though, if they win their last 3 games, then they're in. So they do still have control, but that's not an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? Not easy. Now, Mark,
what about the shit Phillies? Are you ready to move on from the Flyers yet?
In a minute. We're going to. But listen, you references the goalie change, right? And I just felt like usually when you change the goalie, you don't think that's going to actually help you to like come back in the game. You're like, you did so poorly. We're putting this guy in. And I just felt like, and I don't know much about Vladar and his mental makeup, but I felt like we've done so well. He's been playing so well. You want this guy to feel good. Like, is pulling him in the second period really the best thing to do when like the other goalie coming in is not going to be? It's hard to come in as the goalie off the bench and like kick ass, right? So
I mean, on the other hand, you could say, is getting 8 goals scored on you going to help your confidence at all? Like, just take a rest. It's not your night. Hit the locker room. Everything will be okay.
Touche. Yeah. And if he was thinking, get him some rest too, because he knows he's going to need him for the next couple of games. But the game was still.
It's not like it's rare and it's a very common thing. It happens all the time.
Yeah, but usually not like it in the middle of the second period in a game that has playoff implications. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think. But anyway, that struck me. So yeah, we can move on, but
especially when the last 2, I'm sorry, we're on like a 2-man advantage. When he got pulled, his last 2 goals he gave up were on a 2-man advantage in a power play.
A lot of penalties there.
Detroit goal was on a power play too, and they're really good at power play. So whatever.
I did think that was BS the way the period ended with that like scuffle. Yeah. I didn't think it was a big deal. Then all of a sudden we start the period out and we got 17 penalties. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Maybe it sounded like a fix to me.
Kill all refs.
Yeah, refs.
Yeah, 3 goals in 5 minutes, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Well, look, I think that here's the thing that scares me a little. I felt like Philadelphia as a whole had kind of resigned itself to the fact, and that's a bad word to use, we felt like we were getting playoff hockey. Like the mood in town last week was like, yeah, we're going to get playoff hockey. You haven't had it in a long time. It's going to be the best thing ever. And now it's like, oh shit, are we not going to get playoff hockey? So I'll have to see what happens. But,
the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
Right. As, 4 for 4 guys, we would love to see some playoff hockey. So hopefully it works out. And Mark, I just want you to know, you missed the part where I talked about how I have won multiple adult league hockey championships and have immense hockey credibility. And I just want you to know, if we do get playoff hockey, I've been to a lot of games, big games in the past, and I'm a pretty fun guy, so I'm just saying, if you ever have any
Mark, we're
also
discussing your season ticket holderness. And did you get roped into repurchasing Flyers tickets, or is that just Sixers?
Right.
Didn't they? You were going to be out, and
I said you did it willingly, and you were pleased that you did it. It was the Sixers that you had felt like you got roped into. Was I wrong?
The Sixers, I got a little bamboozled. The Flyers, I guess this is the second year that I've been back in on the Flyers after having them for many years, and then finally giving up when I couldn't even give away like ice road tickets for like the last 2 months of the season in like 2019 or something. And we went down. I guess they always call me down for a game here and there, and entertain me. And they brought me and the kids down. This is like 3 seasons ago, and I was like, Danielle, I know what's going to happen when I get down there. I'm going to give in. And this nice young guy was there, and he's like, oh, we'd really love to have you back. He's a season ticket holder. Of course, I ended up leaving with a pair of season tickets. I felt bad for the kid. He was like trying to sell the tickets.
Mark's like, he likes me.
Of course, Danielle's like, and I was like, oh, and they brought me and the 3 kids down for free, and it was great. We had a good time. And he goes, like, you realize you could have like slipped the guy $100 and he would have made more of that than the season ticket commission, right?
Speaking of which, is Danielle doing dishes right now? Because it sounds as if someone's.
No, actually, one of my children was, and I don't want to interrupt that. It's a rare occurrence.
I see in the dishwasher there. Good stuff, man. Helping out around the house. All right, yeah, we don't want to interrupt that.
Yeah, the Sixers are making a semi comeback.
Now the ice machine.
There's the ice machine. Oh my God. This is a Zoom. It's a glorified Zoom.
Blend a smoothie.
Okay, wait, Meech. What's the score of the Sixers game? What's happening? It's 22 points.
Down 9 with 5 minutes to go.
All right. The Sixers, I got totally bamboozled with, and I mean, it's not. Is it surprise anyone that Embiid came up with yet a new injury to have here?
I mean, listen. When you got appendicitis, that's not like faking anything. It's the sad thing is it's always something. Just something.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, karma's a bitch, though, right? Like karma's a bitch.
I mean, you can't say it's karma. Listen, I'm disappointed in Embiid, just as much as anybody, but it sucks. What are you going to do? When he first said he was out with an illness, I thought he was like messing with Morey because they haven't been seeing eye to eye lately.
But, This is where we need to bring a doctor on the show. Does anyone know how long one is out from appendicitis surgery?
I was wondering the same thing. I never had appendicitis.
Listen, I saw something that said like at least like 20 something days, but who knows if that was
the rest of the season.
I think the rest of their season. I mean, look, the good news, at least for me, I had written them off completely before this happened. So, there were other years where the Embiid injuries late in the year like crushed me because I was like, that's it. We can't. We were going to do something. Now we can't. And just watching them play, the past couple games is just like, look, there's just no way this is going to go anywhere. So,
they need to blow this team up.
Yeah.
It's not working. Coach,
there's more implications with the appendicitis thing for the future than there is for this year in terms of like what, I don't know. And the crazy thing is, as much as now Embiid is likely not going to play anymore, and you're going to have to consider what to do. When he was healthy this year, he played really well.
Yeah, he's a monster.
So you're still like, well, if he could be healthy. I mean, gosh, it's rough.
That's the ultimate wish, if only he could be healthy. But unfortunately, he never is when it counts. There's nothing you can do about it.
And what's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. Meech, this is actually a question for you.
I don't even think that's the definition of insanity. I think that's a made-up thing. I bet you if you look up insanity, that's not the definition.
No, probably not. Maybe in the Urban Dictionary or something.
Who said that? Joe Banner? Anyway, go ahead.
I was remarking today, if you're a Sixers fan or know about the Sixers, the fact that they are a playoff team, what does that say about the NBA?
It says that there's 12 teams tanking. It's like half of the league is tanking, and there's like 4 really good teams, and the rest of it is just they're stuck in NBA purgatory, and we're one of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we shouldn't even be invited to any tournament where you're trying to represent the best of basketball. I mean, it's insane.
Well, the worst part is they're going to most likely have to play in a play-in game to make the playoffs, and if they do, get their ass kicked by a 1 or 2 seed. It's the stupidest setup in all of pro sports. Like, why prolong the good part, which is the playoffs, to have 2 of the worst teams in the playoffs play a mini tournament? Who gives a shit? They got to get rid of that play-in tournament ASAP.
It's like the first 4 in the NCAA tournament, which now they're expanding.
That is going on like Tuesday and Wednesday when there wasn't games.
It's true.
The tournament starts on Thursday. They're extending the regular season almost, so the worst teams that are coming into the playoffs can play in a mini tournament. It makes no sense.
I think if the Flyers make the playoffs, a condition of going to a Flyers playoff game with me is going to be that you have to also go to a Sixers game with me.
That's tough. Let's see who they're playing.
It's like when they're like, you can have tickets to the Yankees if you also take a ticket to the Marlins.
Smart. Yeah, turning to the Phils, it was like, oh, they won their first season opener in San Francisco and however long, and then they just promptly lose the next two and just look. I don't know, man. It's still
20 innings in a row with 0 runs.
It's a lot.
I don't know if you guys followed the blog when I had that. Probably not. The Fightins. If you remember, back in like 2011, I think they went on it was like 30 innings without scoring a run, and like 8 innings into it was the first game. I go, I'm not eating again until the Phillies score another run. And then, because I did it on Twitter, and I had the pretty popular blog, and people held me accountable. They're like, you better not eat. So I went like 48 hours without eating. I went, and it was my son's birthday. I took him to like a birthday party at a pizza place. Then we went to Citizens Bank Park for like a tour. And I remember I was on when Gonzo used to host a show on 97.5. They called me. I was on there talking about I was in Sports Illustrated for it. It was like a pretty big deal for the old blog.
Beautiful. And you were like, you really didn't eat anything?
I didn't eat anything. The one night I ordered a Stromboli from Santucci's, and as soon as they scored a run, I was going to eat, and they got shut out that game. So I ended up, it was a Friday night, and we drove down to Ocean City, and I was on the boardwalk in Wildwood, and they finally scored a run in like the 3rd inning, and I went to Mac and Manco's and got a slice, and
got sauce hosed up.
Yep.
That's awesome. And the tough thing, good thing you didn't do it this time, because now they have the off day. You would have had a whole day.
Right.
But they couldn't score.
I think there might have been an off day in when I was doing it was a long time. The only thing I got one of those muscle milks, and I remember it tasted like chalk, and I couldn't even finish it. So that was the thing I cheated on with that.
See, I'm yawning, guys. I can barely do this. It's just terrible. Yeah, speaking of yawning, though, the Phils, they're coming back home. I'm going to the game tomorrow night. Playing the D-backs. I don't know, man. I'm just going to go with the flow here because it certainly seems like we got some major issues. So maybe there's a way to shake things up at some point this season. Dombrowski maybe wants to trade away Bryce because of the whole elite, not elite thing. Although I don't think anyone's going to be that interested.
Yeah. All baseball players got to do is wait until the weather heats up. If you look around the league, nobody's hitting. It's home runs are down, batting averages are down. They'll be all right.
Well, Dodgers aren't having any trouble winning. Yeah. What about the Dodgers, Meach? They're blowing everybody's doors off.
Yeah, they're good. They're like
they're
really good.
Yeah. We're like
they might set the MLB record for wins. They might win close to 120 games this year.
But last year it wasn't that kind of year for them, right?
No,
they weren't as dominant, but so far.
But I think didn't Shohei not pitch until the 120th game?
That's true.
And they didn't have Kyle Tucker.
That's true. Well, I don't know. Let's get into. There's nothing really, to talk about there, given that it's just the same crap with the lack of scoring and.
Oh.
But go ahead, Meach.
No, I wasn't. I'm done with the Phillies.
Yeah. Well,
one concerning thing is Wheeler's been getting hit around in the minors. I don't know if you guys.
That's not good either.
I saw his velocity was down.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It was like
that's a big concern.
Yeah, it just looked like this was going to be like a non-issue. Like he's back, and now what if he can't come back the way he used to be? That's going to be soul crushing. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see.
The Iron Pigs did have an all-you-can-eat rib night when he started, which was a pretty funny promotion. Good job.
That's right.
Good job on the Iron Pigs.
Good play with the rib thing there. Let's just
Are we
get into
entering like a downward spiral? Is that how we're? feeling, like in Philly sports in general?
I mean, we were counting on the Flyers to be the ones to prevent that
not
from
yet.
happening.
Don't call it
check
yet.
back. Hey, check back next week on Meech's birthday.
Okay.
Downward spiral birthday party for Meech next Wednesday.
I can't wait.
Be great. No, but speaking of spiraling, Meech, I know you were looking to get into this juicy situation we got here. Some NFL scandalous news that surfaced.
Crazy.
This is obviously not new news, but the Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel situation, which
I'm kind of wondering, like, who took the pictures? Like, who knows who Diana Rossini is? You think like her husband or Vrabel's wife hired a private investigator or something?
I've heard people say that, and that does make sense because, like, I don't know, like
TMZ or something like that, they don't care about Mike Vrabel. You know what I mean? They're not going to follow him to an adults-only resort 2 hours away from any airport.
I think you're right. I think it was something like that, and they knew just by putting this out, it was going to blow everything up. But here's my question:
She has no way of becoming a professional again, right? Like this is like the worst thing you could do as a member of, as a member of the press, as a journalist. Like this breaks every code of ethics, and it sets. I mean, listen, there's some great women journalists out there, but something like this, the people who hate that, it makes it easy for them, easy pickings. Just point to, and when you're in that position, you can't do this. Like,
so did she end up saying something about it? Because I thought I heard she said something and it was lame.
Of the comments that have come out have been fake. Like, I don't think they haven't actually come out and said anything.
Vrabel hasn't talked about it?
No. Like, what can you say? The only thing to do now is just to own it. Be like, yeah, me and my husband, we've been done for a while now. Like that's the only thing you can come out and say. But if that's not the case, she's in a.
So by way of the fact that if you had a relationship with a coach, you think that makes you cannot any longer be a journalist because of that.
I mean, would you trust anything she says anymore?
Well, why does it affect anything that pertains to anyone else?
Because she's been talking about this A.J. Brown to the Patriots stuff, like, and when you're sleeping with the head coach of the New England Patriots, it's a clear like.
But see, I'd have to go back and look through everything and see if what she was saying.
That, she was ESPN's when he was with the Titans. She was the ESPN Tennessee Titans beat reporter.
That makes sense.
And then after he got fired, I saw a couple tweets that have resurfaced. They're like, Diana Rossini's batting average on Titans news since Vrabel left is 0.00.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think you're definitely in a compromised situation to the extent that, journalists are supposed to be quote unquote impartial. That impartiality is sort of eroded a bit over, since the heyday of print journalism, I guess. But I think it's
and all these Eagles. I didn't mean to cut you off, Mark, but all the Eagles beat writers who have stuck up for her and championed her, they haven't said a goddamn word about it. Like, come on, guys. Like, you can't just pretend it didn't happen.
Wait, when did they stick up for her?
Through all like the rumors, like even WIP named her Insider of the Year. Like it's everybody thinks she's got the greatest inside, and but it's obviously come at a price.
Right. But no one was alleging when she was given Inside of the Year or anything else, like she had some sort of way of getting it. They were just saying she gets the inside scoop because she's good at her job.
Right.
Right. Well, yeah.
Do you think that I mean, she obviously didn't wake up last week and say, "Let me go on vacation with Mike Vrabel." I mean, it's probably been going on for a while, right? Is what everyone thinks. I mean, do you really think that being close to him is going to give you an inside scoop on what the Raiders are doing? I don't know.
But what it does is he could go, "Hey, it might help us out as a team if you put this report out that we're close to this, or we have no interest in that." That's the conflict of interest. That's where the journalistic ethics are completely broken
here's
down.
an even more simple example of that. He could be like, "Hey, I want you to put something out saying that the Patriots are no longer interested in AJ Brown, and that way the Eagles will come back to us and say like, well, what about this?" You know what I mean? Like that would be.
Or he could say, "Hey, say you got sources in Philadelphia who are unhappy with AJ Brown in the locker room, and it creates a disconnect within their own locker room that will somehow give us a better chance of getting a." Like, I mean, it's There's a lot of ways to go about it where he can take advantage of his relationship with an NFL insider.
Well, he's going to have to get in front of a microphone at some point. So that should be interesting. That should be real interesting. Today's day and age, man, can't be creeping out there. You know what I mean?
Always somebody watching. Always somebody watching. It was pretty random. I mean, someone must have been tipped off to it, or who knows? Maybe it was.
I saw on Twitter somebody say Howie Roseman hired Big Dom to.
I saw that.
There's a picture of Big Dom holding a big giant camera.
That was really good. So we got the draft in just a couple weeks, so that'll be interesting.
That explains Fink's absence. He's been holed up prepping for Fink Kuiper.
That's right. He's not going to do Kuiper again, guys. Just forget it.
Remember when he pretended to look for the wig the last time?
That's right. I mean, in his defense, no one else is volunteering to wear a wig and act like a character. But can we just focus on trying to get him back? You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's just get him back in the fold. Meech, listen, Meech. The only way, it's the birthday episode. He's got to come back for the birthday episode.
I don't think
is he going to miss Meech's birthday? Listen,
He's a big birthday guy. He's a big birthday guy.
I struggle from time to time thinking about what we're going to do on a week-to-week basis, but knowing that Meech's birthday is next Wednesday has really just given me something to really plan around.
Oh, great.
Excited. We'll get the Fanatic there.
What's the Wings mascot? I want him there.
The Wings are going out of business again.
I know. R.I.P. the Wings.
Sad.
It's also a friend of the pod, Trevor's birthday next Wednesday. Same day.
Wait, are you born on April 15th, Meech?
Yeah.
That's Trevor's birthday.
Yeah.
We should have a dual party.
Listen, I know Trevor. Ain't no chance Trevor spending his birthday with us at the coop, man. It ain't like that.
We'll go to
He doesn't want to.
We'll do the podcast at Trevor's house with his wife and 2 children.
That would be great.
Brilliant. All right. Well, this is exciting. I'm excited about that. That's the best news I got all day. Look, here's what I know. Number 1, it's past my bedtime, so I got to go to bed. Number 2, I really hope that I feel kind of responsible if the Flyers take a turn for the worse here, because I did say that we're a hockey show now and had a Flyers post-game episode, which was a stupid idea. All right. So it could be my fault, and for that, I'm sorry, but let's just hope that doesn't turn out to be the case. And that's it. Masters. We got the Masters, baby. Meech, did you put any obscure Masters bets in? You had to have.
I didn't. You know what? I really didn't have time this morning to look, and by the time I settled down and got some work done, some guys had already teed off, and I think Patrick Reed was already 4 under after like the 3rd hole. So
I put in a chili bet today, and it came up 1 leg short. I am ice cold, folks. Ice cold. Gonna have to break it. Meech, can you do me a favor and just really channel your gambler self?
birthday parlay next week.
Yes.
There you go.
Get us rich.
Please. Happy birthday to you.
You know, in honor of your birthday, I don't know how the calendar lines up, but there could be a play-in game in honor of your birthday.
You mean the Sixers?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Does it start that soon?
It's next week sometime.
How awful. How awful. Whatever, man. R.I.P. Joel's appendix. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
They should make them play that in a bubble with no fans.
Oh my gosh. That was a
Put
weird
cardboard
time.
cutouts in the seats again.
All right.
Geez.
I'm calling it, gents. We'll see you next week for the Meech's birthday episode and talk to you guys.
I turned 64.
Go Flyers. Hope the Phillies don't suck. I don't know what else to say.
Good talking to you.
Good night. Good night.